countdown to the NFL draft has started. It's tonight. Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza basically considered to be a lock for the top pick tonight, and the selection show comes as the league itself actually finds itself in the crosshairs of the U.S. DOJ, looking at whether its broadcast deals with media companies actually drive up the cost for consumers. Pleased to say we're joined right now to talk a little bit more about the business of sports and the business of sports media with Steve Bornstein. Of course, he's the guy who brought you ESPN 2, ESPN Classic, ESPN this, the X Games, the NFL Network, and everything else. He's now the president of the North American division of Genius Sports. And Steve, one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to you was kind of the evolution that we've seen, not just of NFL, but really of sports media overall. I mean, we always talk about, of course, the NFL, the Super Bowl being one of the biggest broadcasting events of the year, but the NFL draft has actually become must-watch TV for a lot of folks as well. How much further do you think the NFL can facilitate and, more importantly, tether people to their ecosystem, even beyond just the big games?
Well, good afternoon. It's good to be with you. Yeah, look, the NFL draft's become a national holiday. We've been doing this. I was fortunate to be there in 1980 when my boss at the time, Chet Simmons, suggested to Pete Rozelle that we televise the first draft, and Pete laughed at it and thought it was a silly idea, but gave us permission to do it. And now the event has become, as I said, a national holiday. So I think the sky's the limit on what it can do. There have been a couple of evolutions of it. It used to be done Tuesday afternoon in the basement of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City, and then we moved it to Rockefeller Center, and then we moved it to the weekend. Then they had the brilliant idea to move it to prime time, and then ultimately take it on the road. So I think the future is pretty bright for it to continue to grow, and I think it's just a wonderful event and a great celebration of young men's achievement.
Where do you see the NFL's media ambitions going? Obviously, traditionally, it was always the partnerships, at least when I was a kid, with the major broadcast networks. And then, of course, you got all the cable companies involved after that, and now the streaming services. But, of course, your former title, the NFL has its own network. Do you think it will continue to maintain partnerships with third parties from the media side?
Oh, I think it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And, if you're talking in the next, 10 to 20 years, I think that's going to continue. It's hard to sort of forecast what the future of media will be like beyond that, but it's a mutual beneficial relationship. Networks need this content. It's live content is still the only water cooler content available. It's still what gathers large audiences. The media landscape is going to continue to fragment, and I think sports will continue to actually benefit from that because of the live nature of the event.
Steve, I do want to get your thoughts on what Romaine mentioned in the intro, and that is news from earlier this month that the U.S. Justice Department has opened an antitrust probe into the NFL, basically taking a look at its broadcast deals with media companies, whether or not that has driven up the costs for consumers. We'd just love to hear your thoughts here.
Yeah, I'm really not familiar with what the Department of Justice wants to do. I know that the NFL has, from Pete Rozelle's days, want to be broadly distributed. It's probably the only sport that I'm aware of that's on over-the-air television in every market of every game. So I think they're going to continue to service that element, and it's a very important one for them to be broadly distributed and widely available. So not knowing any of the facts, I shouldn't comment much further than that, but I know that the principles of how the commissioner and the team owners operate would be to sustain that and to make sure that it's widely available, and I think that is the case, and that's what we'll find out.
Fair enough. And I do want to talk a little bit about, your current relationship with the NFL, from where you sit at Genius Sports. Talk to us about, the relationship that you've developed there and where you see that going in the future.
Well, data to me makes the game even more enjoyable and reaches yet makes it a more engaging viewer experience. So what you see the NFL doing and what Genius Sports is going to do is going to make it just a more compelling situation where you will be able to watch multiple games, get different data feeds, watch it on your phone, watch it while you're at your kid's soccer game. I think that the portability and the data integration will make the experience even stickier. And, much like the Red Zone channel lifted all boats and the afternoon programming of the NFL actually increased when we launched that product maybe 15 years ago, I think you'll see further engagement with data and gaming will make it even a more beneficial experience for the consumer.
Has that driven more engagement? I don't mean just actual eyeballs watching the games, but actual more engagement with the NFL and the ancillary properties?
That's what we find. What we found, and I think the best example is the Red Zone, which probably, is one of the more innovative concepts. Is that people became a multi-screen operation. They were not only watching their own game, they were watching all the other games that were going on, and were able to then, navigate to those games as they wanted to be. And that was an unintended consequence, right? Frankly, we didn't actually anticipate that happening, or I didn't anticipate that. Maybe there were smarter people that saw it coming. But the fact of the matter is that 1 + 1 was a perfect example of equaling 3. And I see that with data. I see that with some of our Bet Vision products, that it will continue to grow.
All right, Steve, really appreciate your time. Have to have you back soon. That is Steve Bornstein.